King over all the earth. Sing praises to God, sing praises. Sing praises to our King, sing praises. For God is the King over all the earth. Sing to Him a psalm of praise. Enter His gates with thanksgiving and His courts with praise. Give thanks to Him and praise His name. Can I get an amen? Tonight I want to talk to you about the biblical word praise. I want to share with you a theology of praise. Now, some of you are realizing right about now, I was born and raised in Mississippi. And I'm from the other side of the world. I'm from an island called Australia. And thank you, a bit of Australia love. I appreciate that. So I know you know about Australia. You've been educated by Outback Steakhouse. So you know what's up, right? So I was born in a small country town, and I attended this small country church. And when it came time for praise and worship, we were not known as an expressive group of people. Does anyone know what I'm talking about? I mean, we were not known as outwardly enthusiastic. There may have been a party going on the inside, but there were no signs of it on the outside. So one day, someone invited me to the other kind of church. You know, the one I'd been warned about. And I went along, and I came in, and praise and worship was already begun. And I looked over, and there was one guy who was like punching the air, like aerobics. I'm like, how about that? There was another guy that was like bouncing up and down. I'm like, that's interesting. There was another guy who looked like he was wincing in pain as he was singing. Someone else had like a vein coming out the side of his neck. I'm like, anyone else seeing this? I had this very, very distinct thought. Oh, these are not my people. I felt very uncomfortable with the whole thing. I was kind of repelled, but yet strangely attracted as well. Does anyone know what I'm talking about? I looked at my mate, I said, I am very uncomfortable with all of this. See you back here next week. So I came back, and I came back again, and then I came back again, and I came back again. About 6 weeks into it, I found myself in the middle of the crowd, and we were singing, and something happened that had never happened before. I just couldn't help myself. I was overcome by the power of God, by my gratitude towards Jesus, and I lifted my hands.
Amen, amen.
And I had this very distinct thought. Oh no, I've switched teams. I've become one of them. Great theologian Chance the Rapper says, when the praises go up, the blessings come down.
Amen.
Another theologian who's actually a theologian is Martin Lloyd-Jones, and he says, a dislike of enthusiasm can be one of the greatest hindrances to revival. You see, we read the English translation of the Bible. Some of you read Spanish, but we read English or Spanish, but we're reading a translation of the Bible, aren't we? It's translated from the Greek and the Hebrew, and when something is translated, sometimes there is not an exact word for the Hebrew or the Greek. An example would be like, we use the word love with a really, really broad bandwidth in the English language. Like, I love my wife and I love sushi. And it's the same word, right? Do you remember when you were like, the first time you ever heard that there are actually 4 Greek words for the English word love? And they are storge and phileo and eros and agape, and they all mean something slightly different. And how illuminating that was when you first heard that. Well, there are 7 Hebrew words for the English word praise. 7. And they all mean something slightly different. Do you guys want to hear the 7 different Hebrew words for praise? Alright, we're going to jump into this. Chris and I ended up writing a book where I shared in each chapter the 7 Hebrew words for praise, and Chris wrote about the story behind so many of these songs. And I want to read each of these and give you the definition of each one. The first Hebrew word for praise is the word yada. Everyone say yada.
Yada.
Oh, you sound like Hebrew scholars now. The definition of yada is to revere or worship with extended hands, to hold out the hands, to throw a stone or an arrow. In the Old Testament, when they would use the word yada, it was like the idea of shooting an arrow or throwing a stone. And in the context of worship, it meant to lift one's hands in the presence of the Lord. Psalm 63 verse 7 uses this word. It says, may the peoples yada you, God. May all the peoples yada you. Now, this is a natural instinct of humanity, right? It doesn't matter if it's a touchdown or a home run or a goal. We all do the same thing, don't we? I mean, no one taught you to do that. When you were 3, your dad didn't say, a little higher, son, you know? I mean, it's a natural instinct of something when we're celebrating. How many of you remember the first time that you lifted your hands in the presence of the Lord? Remember that time? Maybe you were with a bunch of other non-hand raisers. And you were kind of self-conscious that they were going to like catch you out of peripheral vision, you know? But something happened in you where your self-consciousness was surpassed by your passion to express your affection to Jesus. And you said, I don't care anymore. I'm lifting my hands. And you'd say, well, that's good, but you know, I don't do that. I don't lift my hands in the presence of the Lord. I'm an accountant. We don't do that kind of stuff. Maybe tonight would be the first time you do that. Maybe tonight would be the night where God sets you free and you just lift your hands in yada. If you do that, you will join with 3,000 years of history of God's people who came into his presence and they would praise him, they would yada him by lifting their hands. The first word is yada. The second word is the word halal. Everyone say halal.
Halal.
Halal means to boast, to rave, to shine, to celebrate. What's this? To be clamorously foolish. Halal is where we get the word hallelujah. Psalm 149 verse 3 says, let them halal his name with dancing and make music to him with a timbrel and a harp. The context of this is 38,000 Levites, 38,000 musicians, singers, coming together and having this spontaneous explosion of praise where they're dancing and they're singing and they're celebrating, where they're just putting all of their self-consciousness aside because they're having a time to celebrate. How many have ever been to a Jewish wedding before? Listen, you people need to go recreationally, right? You got to check this thing out. My wife and I went to a Jewish wedding a few years ago, and we got through the whole ceremony, and then we got to the end, and what I didn't realize is that participation in all of the celebration for the reception at a Jewish wedding was non-optional, even for us Gentiles, right? And before I knew it, I had like a 65-year-old Jewish man under this arm and a 59-year-old Jewish man under this arm, and we were leaning back and we were dancing, right? And I'm like, I'm very uncomfortable with all of this. This guy on my left was laughing so hard and leaning back, it sounded like a laugh, a sound that was coming from the depth of his soul. And he was looking at a couple of people that he loves who were coming together in holy matrimony. And he was going, this is worth celebrating. This is the spirit. This is the essence of halal. In fact, the entire book of Psalms, all 150 Psalms, culminates with the word halal. Psalm 150 verse 6 says, let everything that has breath halal the Lord. Halal the Lord. Halal means to rave, to shine, to celebrate, to boast, to be clamorously foolish. Some translations say even to act madly before the Lord. The third word is the word tehillah. Everyone say tehillah.
Tehillah.
Easy now. Well, I could only remember one of the words, but tehillah. Tehillah is a hymn, a song of praise, a new song, a spontaneous song. The Hebrew word for psalm is the word tehillah. The Hebrew word for the book of Psalms is the word tehillim. It's the idea of the collection of psalms. It is singing a song, but it's more than that. It's singing a new song. It's singing an unrehearsed song. It's singing a song that doesn't rhyme. I mean, unless you're Chris Tomlin, where everything he sings, it just rhymes. It just comes out like that. Tehillah is singing a song that is reflecting what Jesus has done in your life. I moved to the United States 20 years ago, and I'm like an accidental pastor. I was standing in the American Embassy in Melbourne, in Australia, trying to come to the US to work in radio. I was working for a Christian radio station. That's what I was hoping to do. Now, the INS officer misread my file. They made an administrative error, and they gave me the wrong kind of visa. Instead of getting a visa where I could be working in radio, they gave me a pastor's visa. I'd never been a pastor before. I had no plans of ever becoming a pastor. Sometimes people say to me, how did the Lord call you into ministry? I say, the US government called me into this thing. And out of fear of deportation, I just keep preaching every single week.